Not long after switching to Zen's controls, Yan XNZ has hit rank 1 in every playlist, 1s, 2s and 3s at the same time. Now that's a pretty prestigious list of players that he joins who have actually managed to achieve rank 1 in all the playlists simultaneously. Lovely little attempted speed flip exit there. Bit of a slow recovery from Yan. But yeah, usually when a player does this, I commemorate the achievement by making a video with their ranked gameplay. But actually I thought it would be more interesting in the context of Yan and Furia and where we are in the RLCS season right now to actually just look at his RLCS gameplay and talk about their current state in RLCS. You know, what's going on with Furia, what's going on with Yan, and you know, really why the incredible talent on this roster hasn't been as effective in North American RLCS compared to other teams like Gen G, who you can see across the other side of the field there. Complexity, the other two import teams. Furia have been the least successful out of the 3 import teams in the region, despite having plenty mechanical ability, plenty talent on the roster. And it's not for a lack of grinding, not for a lack of putting in the effort, as you can see in ranked Yan, number 1 in all the playlists at the same time. And they're clearly playing quite well right now at the game in general. Okay, Furia have kind of stuck to their style that they've always had. Yan sticking to his style like he's always had with RLCS. With Rocket League, since he burst onto the scene in South America at the end of RLCS Season X. And then of course had an unbelievable 2021-22 season with Furia in RLCS South America before switching to North America this year. They've always been known as an all-out aggressive team. They don't hit brakes. Well, actually they do. They do have break bound. In fact, it's quite an important button in Rocket League. But they don't really slow down for anything. They just keep on going. Even if they don't have boost, they'll chain dash, wave dash, and any other method to get up to speed and keep on attacking. And I think that's been actually one of the reasons why they have struggled this season, is that they just do not slow down at all. Good little delay there from Yan. Wait and see if Chronic will miss that backboard raid. He does. And Chronic might have jumped up early there, expecting Yan to be rushing it, because that's kind of what Furia do. They just go fast for every single ball, and everybody knows that. You know you have to be ready against them. Oh, great save. Yan shrugs off a bump from Nolly to keep the scoreline at 1-0 there. This game is just one of the games from the Regional 1 matchup between Furia and Gen G. Gen G did in fact win that match, but I wanted to show you guys this game, so I think it's a good example of what Yan is good at in the field. While we're watching this, while we're watching one more game as well, I will talk about some of their struggles as well, and things that I want to see from them to become a more well-rounded roster, and to become a more, I think, robust opponent on the pitch. Now, they have no lack of mechanical ability, no lack of outplay potential, but I think that their Route 1 mentality, just trying to get every single play into a shot on target as fast as possible, does get them in trouble sometimes. They end up being read and countered, and you know, I don't know if that's down to communication, or if that's just down to well, communication problems I should say, or if that's just down to a stylistic decision that they've made. But what I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt is that, you know, looking at some of the mistakes that Furia have had that have resulted in goals against them, it's pretty clear that they don't do enough to slow the play down when it would benefit them to do so. Just to give you, a couple of examples. Some teams, when the whole squad's on low boost, will pretty much exclusively look for low 50-50s, controlling the ball and trying to slow down the pace of the game, because when you don't have boost and the opponents do, the quickest way to lose control is to hit the ball into a position far away from you and your teammates, because you're just going to get beaten to the ball by the players who do have boost. So that's one thing I think Furia could improve on. I think just controlling the ball, slowing it down when the boost totals go low for all 3 of their players. Happens to every team at various stages in any game at the highest level. Some teams are very good at dealing with that, and they can just play comfortably with low boost, whether it's on their goal line or in defense. Even in the midfield, some teams, especially in Europe, are very good at keeping pressure on their opponents despite having absolutely no boost on any of their players. And low 50-50s, slow plays are really good ways to do that. Just having some semblance of control of the ball forces your opponents to do something about it. And they can't just leave their net, leave the ball to go get boost as they'd like to. That's, I think, the biggest issue that Furia have. But probably the second would be, I think, one that you guys are all aware of, and that's overextending. Whether it's overextending for an attack that they, are stretching themselves pretty thin to continue, or whether it's just overextending with a very risky pass attempt in the midfield, or a risky pass attempt out of defense that gets pounced on. They do overextend a lot. So teams know when they play against Furia, when they play against Jan and the boys, that they don't have to force the issue. Furia will do it for them. Furia will force the issue. They'll try to get the wins. And if you just play a flawless, no mistakes game, you're going to get chances to score on their net. This was a great game, though, from Furia and from Jan. Brilliant outplays to create goals against one of the best teams in the world, Gen G. And now let's take a look at what they did against one of the other top teams in North America, FaZe, this time in Regional 2. So in this game, you're going to see more of the same in terms of high-flying outplays, just exquisite ball control from Jan. We're on Jan POV for this whole game, of course, as we were last time. But what you'll also see in this game is goals against them, and I think that will illustrate what I'm talking about earlier. But first, let's feast your eyes on that ridiculous ceiling shot from Jan. He air dribbles to the ceiling, resets, and then sends the ball into the top corner. Perfect placement and a whole lot of power as well past one of the best defenses in the world, FaZe Clan. Now this is Regional 2, so FaZe actually came second place in this regional. They played very well all weekend. Regional 1, the game that I just showed you against Gen G came second, so that was obviously a very informed Gen G. Furia are able to outplay anyone on their day. I think they are the most swingy team, probably the team with the biggest distance between their ceiling and their floor. And by that I mean their peak ability and their absolute worst ability that they'll have on display throughout any RLCS weekend. And just look, good luck reading that. Little effortless double tap center ball by Jan, missed, completely unprepared for it. Just like that, they put a second goal into the back of the FaZe net. Yeah, they can outplay anyone in their day. With their style, their extremely high-risk style, if they get it right, if they can find the balance, then they can beat anyone. But obviously they can lose to a whole lot of teams they shouldn't be losing to as well, in situations where it gets ugly, where it goes wrong. I don't know how the comms are for Furia. I wouldn't be able to tell you either way because I can't speak Portuguese if I could listen into their comms. But I would speculate that their comms and indeed their mental game are shakier than most of the other top teams in the world right now. They've been known to tilt out of series and tilt out of games where it starts to go wrong, it just spirals out of control and they start to concede more and more unnecessary goals. So far this is going pretty well. They actually went into this game that we're watching down 2-1 in the series against FaZe, needing to win 2 in a row to continue in the tournament. Worth mentioning perhaps that in that previous game I showed you of Furia against Gen G, that was also a game following a loss where Gen G had beaten them in one game. But this game's been going okay for now. Maybe they stretched themselves a bit thin, allowed the counter-attack from FaZe for the goal against him, the only goal against him this game. This is, I think, a bigger and more obvious example of where it goes wrong for Furia. A refusal to slow down an offense. They're lost, making a pass across the box for a bump. That leaves Card alone in defense for a while. And Jan plays the ball into a position that is just as easily the goalkeeper's as it would be Card's. Card trying to move forward there and join the attack, and they just get completely countered. This is something that happens quite a lot for Furia. They try to go for maybe an ill-advised, unnecessarily risky pass to a third man or a pass to a last defender, and it just gets intercepted and immediately fired into their net before anyone can recover to get into the goal. Yeah, getting into the goal is another thing you sometimes just don't really see from Furia, don't really see from Jan. They don't like to sit in goal and wait for the play to come to them. They like to go out and meet the play, which sometimes works in their favour, sometimes works against them, where they'll get clumped up at the near post, and an easy 50-50 middle goes past their whole team. So, to summarise what we've been talking about here, what are the core struggles that Furia have had? I think, they overextend a lot. They don't communicate their boost totals to each other effectively enough to allow slow plays to be used at the right moments and to allow low 50s and dribbling to be used at the right moments. And yeah, sometimes just even in offense when they do have boosts, just a refusal to slow the ball down and actually control it for any touch, evident by their second goal they've conceded here. You know, could have played for a 50-50, could have played for a bit of a slower approach, instead went for the immediate centre ball off the corner wall. And that's a great play, well played by Lost. Love that he's willing to go ahead of the ball there and do the dirty work in front of it. 2-goal gap again. It's all to play for still, as you guys are mostly aware, I'm sure, in North America for this split, whereas Europe have 5 teams almost locked in. I mean, a couple teams are, I think, locked. Well, I know that Vitality are locked for the major. Another 4 teams behind them, BDS, Moist, Team Liquid, and Karmine Corp are all essentially locked. Oh, great bump by Miss, and a double by First Killer as well. Lovely finish. But notice that was off a card soft cleared, one that he didn't need to make. He could have controlled that ball. Again, hits the ball, and FaZe are more than ready for it. Yeah, all to play for in North America. Europe looks pretty locked, almost no scenarios to play for there, with 5 very clear favourite teams to make the major, whereas in North America, no one is locked in. Absolutely no one is safe. Furia are sitting in 7th place. FaZe and Gen.G, who have also been in this video, are sitting in 5th equal, just 4 points ahead of Furia. And the gap to teams in the top 4 are not that much bigger either. You've got Optic, Space Station, Complexity, and V1 all in another 3-point windows. It's crazy, or I think 4-point window if I remember correctly. Absolutely crazy in NA. I cannot wait to see Regional 3. I can't wait to see who's going to get the strong start, who's going to be making that run through the lower bracket. It's all to play for both of these teams in your screen, and a whole lot of other teams as well. NRG, Shopify Rebellion, G2. I mean, it really is absurd just how close it is in NA. But yeah, if I'm to make an early prediction, I think Furia can make it. I think that the bracket this time is a little bit more favourable for them, as they look like they might be dodging their nemesis, Space Station Gaming, if things go according to seeding. But they're going to need to produce a very disciplined performance. The comms need to be on point. The trust needs to be on point. The mentality needs to be on point. It really does come down to consistency in big, high-pressure situations like this. So although the bracket, I think, favours them, before I saw the bracket, if you asked me, are Furia going to make the major, I would have said no. I don't think that they are consistent enough at the moment. I think they give away far too many free goals. They overextend enough. They don't slow play enough when they should. And some teams are just able to punish them for that. With much more consistent and safe play. But I will say I think the bracket does look good for them. The projected bracket looks like they might dodge Space Station, which is big, because Space Station have knocked them out of Regional 1 and sent them to the lower bracket in Regional 2. That's the team that they've had the most trouble with overall. They're actually playing against NRG in round 1 of Regional 3, who eliminated them from Regional 2. But I think the fact that that's in the upper bracket should have Furia being the favourites there. I will have to wait and see. I mean, NRG are right there in the mix as well. Definitely a major contender. So that's going to be a banger of a round 1. I think probably the round 1 match I'll be paying most attention to when it comes to Regional 3 time. I think it's now 3 weeks from now. Yeah, we got a break week. No RLCS this coming weekend for NA and EU, just MENA and also OCE to look forward to. And then the week after that, you've got Europe. The week after that, we've got North America. So lots of RLCS worldwide to look forward to. But yeah, plenty of time to think about and look forward to NA RLCS in particular. But back to the start of this video. Congratulations, Jan. Of course, I wanted to talk about, more relevant topics to them, more important topics. Ranked is interesting, but RLCS is what these guys play for, so I wanted to talk about that. But definitely congratulations on joining a very prestigious group of players who have attained rank 1 in all the playlists combined. All the playlists at the same time, I should say. A phenomenal achievement, especially this far into the season. That's all we got time for today, though, guys. If you like these kind of videos, looking bigger picture on individual players, let me know in the comments down below. If there are any players you want me to make videos like this about, again, let me know in the comments. But for now, thanks again, and thanks as always for watching, and have a great rest of your day.